Good morning, Lions fans, and welcome to the Lions Den. Today we're going to look at the NFC North, give you a little preview of our three opponents, the offseason moves they made, what they looked like at the end of last year, and what we think we're going to get out of them this year. So, do me a favor, please, if you find any of this content interesting, leave a comment. Tell me your opinion. I'm not an expert. I'm just a man with a camera and a lot of opinions. So, here we go. We'll get right into it. And our first team is the Minnesota Vikings. Now, as you remember, Minnesota last year goes 14-3. Lost to us last week of the season, right in that pivotal matchup. One team's going to take the division. The other team is going to play in a wild card game, right? And we beat them. We tied up the 1 seed. They dropped into that wild card round and lost to the Rams. At the Rams, they lost pretty badly too. I think it was like 24-9 or something like that, right? So a disappointing end to what was otherwise a really good season for them. And we know that there was the Kirk Cousins drama last offseason. Sam Darnold, we were not expecting much from him. Darnold played really well, except for when it mattered in the two biggest games of the season, and kind of proved that he's still Sam Darnold, right? He's not going to take you to the mountaintop. Aaron Jones had a great year last year for them, right? Coming over from Green Bay, he had like 1,100 something yards on the ground, and I think he added another 400-ish in the air as a receiver. So Jones had a great year. Of course, they have Jefferson, who is, I think, the best receiver in the league. And that's not a knock on Chase. Maybe it's just because I see him more often. But, oh, man, he's special. Obviously, they have Addison as well, who's a talented receiver in his own right. They've got Hawk, who is a very good tight end. I think he's a Pro Bowl level player. Right, so they've got receivers, they've got a running back. Off-season, they didn't make any big splash moves, but they did pay some money for some interior offensive lineman help, right? And I think that's going to be really important for them since, of course, the biggest question for us as far as Vikings go is, what are they going to get out of their, essentially, rookie QB, right? To have a QB coming off of a torn meniscus, right? He missed his whole first year. I don't think he got too many meaningful reps most throughout the year, right? Mental reps, okay, great. But ultimately, he is a big question mark. And I've seen a lot of J.J. McCarthy playing in college, right? There are questions about his ability to throw the ball downfield. We know that with that Michigan team, Blake Corum, right, Donovan Williams, they ran the crap out of the ball, and they bullied people. Now, I think JJ's a talented quarterback. I think that he is going to have success in the NFL. I really do. That might be a homer take. I don't know. But I don't know what his ceiling is. I'm not sure his ceiling is a Pro Bowl level player. I think he can be a serviceable quarterback in the NFL. I don't. It's a kind of prove it thing for me. I'm going to have to see him play well in the NFL to believe he can. So the question is, how does that? I mean, that O-line is. I'm sorry. The offense is about as good as you're going to get in the league. There's only a few offenses that are better suited for a rookie quarterback to come in and find success, right? They've got talent everywhere else. So if he can do a serviceable job, I think that they can find themselves, in the playoff hunt. But I don't see J.J. McCarthy this year being able to lead the Vikings to another 14-win season. I don't see it. I think they are going to regress. Now, they've still got Flores and the D, right? That defense is up there, man. I mean, they were, I think, 5th points per game last year. second in rush yards allowed. They're bona fide, right? They are legitimate, and with Flores and his talent for mixing things up and mixing up blitzes and looks, and dropping people off the line of scrimmage, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's just effective, and he's a very talented coach, right? So I don't see Minnesota having a terrible season, right? They've also got KOC at head coach, and he's a really talented coach. In my opinion, he's a very good coach. And if we were looking for a head coach, and his name came up, I would be thrilled about that if that were the situation we were in. I really, really think he's talented, and I don't think he's going to let the wheels fall off this thing. But if I had to guess, I see the Vikings as a 10-11 win team this year. I think they're just too good to be slowed down that much, but I don't think they're going to find success against the top level teams because their quarterback's not ready for it yet. Will he be eventually? Maybe. Will he be able to play in the NFL for many years? I think so, at some level, right? In some role. Is he going to be, the next Josh Allen? I don't see it. But time will tell. All right, and next we have the Green Bay Packers. Packers last year went 11-6. Another team one and done in the playoffs, right? Packers had a bit of a tough year offensively. Jordan Love got hurt in that first game, right? And kind of never really, never really looked great last year. As far as his numbers go, he regressed a bit. Now, again, it's football. There's just a million reasons for any one thing to happen, right? It's not just, Love didn't play well. But ultimately, 11-6, bounced in the first round. That's not the expectation in Packerland, right? They expect to be a threat in the playoffs every year. So I know that Packer fans were very disappointed with the way that the year ended. Defensively, they were good. Sixth best scoring defense, so we'll give them credit for that. 13th against the pass, 7th against the run. A very solid defense, and their offense was in the top 8 as well, right? So, not surprising that they won 11 games. How did they do that if Love wasn't playing very well and wasn't passing the ball very well? Josh Jacobs. I think he ended up with about 1,600 yards, 15, 16 touchdowns. He was immense. And he just kind of passed the eye test. If you watch that team, in my opinion, he was just, at any moment, he looked dangerous, right? Like he was going to break one. The Packers have upgraded, right? The Packers have upgraded. They got Aaron Banks at guard. They paid a lot of money for him. And then probably their biggest upgrade of the offseason was their first-round pick, Matthew Golden, speedster, wideout from Texas. Really good. If anyone saw any Texas highlights last year, Texas's offense was formidable, and Golden he looks legit. I really think that Golden's going to come in, and we can make as many hype jokes as we want. But ultimately, I think he's going to be a big addition for this team because, the joke last year was that Green Bay has a bunch of wide receiver threes, right? No wide receiver one. So I see Love having a better year, all things assuming there's no injuries or, whatever else can happen in an NFL season, which we know there will be shakeups and bumps along the road, right? But I see Love playing better. I see Jacob still being a terror. And ultimately, and you've got 4 first-round picks on the D-line. On the other side of the ball, you've got Xavier McKinney coming off of an excellent year. He appears to be a legit ball hawk, right? And then the last thing is, again, as much as I might not want to say it, I believe that they have a very talented coach. LaFleur is legit. And there's a reason why this division is so good. And it's because, last year you look at the head coaches, the 3 head coaches who won 10 plus games in our division are really, really talented in my estimation, right? These are top 5, top 10 guys. Now, obviously, Dan is the man, but I got to give them credit where credit is due. Both Minnesota and Green Bay have very talented coaches, and ultimately in the NFL and football, if you don't have that, you're going to be in trouble, right? But if you do, that can mitigate a lot of other problems. And if you look at their roster, there's not a lot of holes in this Green Bay roster. Okay, there's questions about the DBs, right? But ultimately, I expect them to have another solid year. And I think with Love playing a little bit better, with some more offensive weapons, I believe that the Packers are going to win at least 11 games. And I think they are going to be our biggest challenger for the division. So, typical, right? Green Bay, you can't hold them down in third place too long because they will bounce back. We've seen that for decades, unfortunately. So I expect 11, 12 wins out of them, and I think that they will push us for the division. Okay, now last and also least, the Chicago Bears. Da Bears. So, what can we expect from the monsters of the Midway this upcoming season? Well, I don't expect them to be monsters. Bears last year were 5-12. We know that their coach was relieved in the middle of the season, and they were bad. They were bad. The amount of, if you watched any Bears games, just the mismanagement by the coaching staff was abysmal. I work with a Chicago guy who is a Bears fan, and every week he looks so sad, and I was like, hey, I get it. This is what it used to be like watching the Lions, just snatching defeat from the jaws of victory sometimes, right? Just a dumpster fire of a team, and that started with the head coach. Now, Eberflus is gone, right? They have a new head coach. I do not think they're going to go 5-12 again. Before we get to the coach, I'll start with Caleb Williams. He's in his second year. He made a lot of mistakes last year, but I also think that he was not set up in a position to win, right? Defensive-minded head coach didn't really. There was no progression in Caleb's game. Like, he didn't get better throughout the season. I don't think he was coached up at all. I don't think he was playing with confidence. I don't think they gave him the tools necessary to be successful. Now, as much as I like clowning the Bears, and as much as I like clowning Caleb, I think he's got talent. I in the games that we played against him and some of the other games I watched, I don't think he was the biggest problem. I don't think he was that much of a problem. I think he didn't have confidence, and I think that's a coaching staff problem. Now, they have made some upgrades to that offense. Offensive line, they put a lot of money in that. They picked up two-time All-Pro Joe Thuney from Kansas City, right? He is going to step in and immediately make an impact. They got the best center in the market from Atlanta. That's got to help your second-year, quarterback feel a little bit more comfortable having those two guys in front of him. They've got Moore. They've got Odunze, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze. They've got Cole Kmet, who I thought was underutilized last year. You got a rookie quarterback. Find him some easy stuff inside to the tight end, right? Use that safety blanket and try and relieve some pressure. Let him feel comfortable. I thought he was mismanaged last year by the coaching staff. And they picked up Loveland, who's a Michigan guy. And for those of us who saw him play, he's a talented player. I really think that he's going to hit the ground running. I think he's pro ready. I think he's ready for the NFL. I think with those four pass catchers, I think that they are going to play a lot better on offense. We're going to see a lot. We're going to see fewer turnovers, fewer sacks, fewer broken plays. I think a lot of that gets cleaned up. Um, Ben Johnson. So, this one is kind of complicated, okay? I have obviously my own personal feelings about Ben Johnson. Loved having him here, was really, really happy with the job that he did here. He was a great OC. And I've said this before, I do not believe Ben Johnson is going to have a long and super great head coaching career. I just don't see it. Now, I could be wrong, but he does not have those leader of men attributes like the Dan Campbell, the guy you want to follow. Having said that, first of all, I think he's a very talented offensive mind, right? I think there's no question that he's going to be able to fix many of the problems in Chicago, okay? Do I think he's a person who's going to take them to a Super Bowl? I don't. He's really going to have that. That's a kind of prove it thing, right? Like, I'm not saying he couldn't be a good head coach eventually. I just don't see it. So I will be, happy to say I'm proven wrong if I am. But I do think where Ben Johnson is going to be a huge benefit is Caleb in the offense. I think he's going to go in there. He's going to tell Caleb, you are the man. We're going to build this around you. We're going to work to your strengths, which is the same thing he did with Jared, right? Jared said, Ben came in and said, okay, what do you like to do? What do you not like to do? What do you feel like is comfortable for you? And they went from there, right? So I think Ben Johnson is a really, really smart guy, and I think he's going to get a lot more out of Caleb. And I don't think that's really going to be that hard because, geez Louise, if you watched the Bears last year, they were just in disarray. It reminded me a lot of watching the Lions at any point before the last 4 years, right? And my decades as a fan, right? We've seen that so many times. Just players being mismanaged, not being coached up, no confidence in themselves, making mistakes, everybody kind of in it for themselves, no cohesiveness, right? I think Ben Johnson's going to clear a lot of that up. I think we're going to see a much better, much more confident Caleb Williams. Now, they went 5-12 last year. What do we reasonably expect them to do? I do think they are going to win more games. I think that they are going to find themselves right around 9-8. I believe that the Bears will be right around 500 and probably just a touch over it. They've got enough talent that really there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to win more than, 9 games would be a 4-game increase, right? Their defense last year was, I think, the 13th scoring defense, right? Not bad. They've got Dennis Allen coming in, who, say what you want about him, he is a talented D coordinator. I think he will fix a lot of those problems as well. There's a lot of low-hanging fruit in Chicago. There's a lot of things that any decent coach should be able to fix, right? Eberflus was bad. You've got to assume that this new coaching staff is going to get more out of their players. I don't see them threatening us for the North. I don't see them making the playoffs. I do see them improving and probably causing some problems in the division. But again, I see the floor with Ben Johnson being much higher. I'm still not so set on the ceiling. So I see the Bears going roughly 9. So how do I see the division ending up for the year? I think the Lions are going to maintain their grip. We're going to get a three-peat as division champs. I see the Packers being in that second spot right behind us, kind of nipping at our heels. I think the Vikings will be in 3, and then the Bears last place where they belong. Thanks for watching. Please leave a comment. Tell me what you think. If you agree, disagree. Would love to hear from other people. The whole point of this channel is for fans to have a spot to come and talk about the Lions and kind of compare notes. So drop me a note. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you next time.